Hello, Jeremy Chambers and
Luke Chambers.
Independence Acres Homestead here. This evening, while Luke's gonna go fishing, I'm gonna discuss with you guys our second in our series of cuniculture videos. Specifically, we're gonna be talking about how do you pick out breeding stock for your rabbitry. All right, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I really can't be out here at the pond and not cast a line in myself here and there, so I hope you don't mind if I multitask a little bit here. Anyway, so I hope that you're coming to this video after already watching our first video on cuniculture. So number one, you know what cuniculture is, woohoo, fish on! And number two, you know, you're not coming into this video completely blind. All right, look at that. Behold the power of hot dogs. Yes, we do fish with hot dogs. All right, anyway, so, you know, specifically we're gonna talk about choosing your breeding stock today, right? Put the fish back. All right, so when it comes to choosing breeding stock, there's really just a few questions you wanna answer. You know, number one, what is your purpose for raising rabbits? Is this something where you're looking to just raise rabbits for meat only? Are you looking for pelts and meat? Are you looking for fiber and meat? Because there's literally, there's over 305 different separate varieties of domestic rabbit in the world, about over 70 countries. So when it comes to picking what kind of rabbit you're going to choose to raise on your homestead, you really need to figure out what's your intention, what's your purpose. So first thing, if you're going to look at just meat, there's some wonderful commercial type rabbits. You've got the Californian, New Zealand, even a Rex is okay if you're just looking for primarily meat. Now, if you're looking at like pelts and meat, that's going to change things a little bit. Mostly because you're going to be raising your rabbits a little older to make your pelts a little more desirable, whether you're using them for your own crafts or whether you're going to be reselling them. And it's a great, and also an additional product that you can use to make a little extra income on the homestead. If you're going to be doing that, you know, Californians are also great. A white pelt, it can be dyed any color. So Californians make a great rabbit to raise, even for pelts. But instead of raising them and processing them at 12 weeks, you're going to be looking at, you know, 18, 20, 24 weeks even to get the higher quality pelt. And also you're going to be processing in fall, late winter, in order to get the highest quality pelt, because you don't want to be processing your rabbits when you're, when your rabbits are molting, because that's going to give you a lower quality pelt, less desirable, less money. And then finally you got, you know, the meat and fiber. So a meat and fiber rabbit is going to be like an Angora rabbit. That's what it's called. These are rabbits where their hair is constantly growing. They've got to be trimmed, and then their hair can be used to you know, make yarn, weave it into cloth. So many different things you can use. So answer that question, number one. What's your intention and what's your purpose for raising rabbits? Number two, what kind of area do you have to raise rabbits in? If you've got a small area, it might not be a bad idea to choose a smaller breed, such as a mini Rex or you know, a mini Lop or something of that nature. Now, once you get to the minis, they're a little cuter, but let me just tell you something. Every rabbit is a meat rabbit, okay? That's all you need to know. Every rabbit is a meat rabbit. So if you only have a small space to raise rabbits in, by all means, get small rabbits. If you're just looking to feed one or two people, those mini breeds actually make a great meal. It's kind of like the Cornish hen of the rabbit world, right? So, you know, there's so many different varieties when it comes to breeds. All right, the second thing you need to figure out, what kind of climate do you live in? Now, why is this important? Well, because if you live in a warmer climate, you know, a rabbit with a heavier coat might have a hard time, you know, surviving and adapting. Rabbits are really good at surviving through the cold. They're not so good at surviving through the heat. So you want to make sure that you purchase and are getting rabbit breeding stock that can work in the area in which you live. Is it okay to buy from, you know, climates that are not similar to yours? Absolutely. But you're going to want to do it, you know, so if you're from Florida and you're looking to buy rabbits from up north like we are in Michigan, and I'll sell rabbits to somebody in Florida, but usually it's only going to be in the winter or the fall or very, very early spring, giving the rabbits time to acclimate to the warmer weathers. I ate my hot dog. All right, and one of the last things that I want to talk to you about is pedigree. All right, now there's a lot of misconceptions about pedigree, and let me tell you something. Just because a rabbit has pedigree does not mean it's quality stock. All that means is that the person who's selling you the rabbit has maintained a record of the parentage of that rabbit for 3 generations. That means it knows the parents of that rabbit, its grandparents, and its great-grandparents. And that's all that pedigree means, is that they have that record. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily getting a perfect rabbit. Pedigree does not equal quality. And a lot of people get hung up on that. Like, oh, I have a pedigreed rabbit. Oh yeah, it's so good, it's so good. No, it's actually could be a mutt, but it could still have a pedigree. All right. What you want to look for, though, is possibly a purebred rabbit. That's going to give you the highest quality genetics to start with, especially if you're looking to perpetuate breeding stock. So you're going to, breed for a year or two, and then begin selecting some out of your own breeding program in order to breed back into your program. Okay, so there's all these things to think about, and finally, I just want to encourage you guys. Sometimes just get what you can afford. If all you can find in your area is $15, $20 rabbits, by all means, if you're just raising them for meat, get the $15 and $20 rabbits. Don't be afraid of a lower quality rabbit, because in the end, you're just going to eat them. All right? And the last thing I want you to also consider is when you're selecting rabbits is you want to be a little picky about the health of the rabbit, right? So you want to inspect its teeth and make sure that its teeth are not, overgrowing. You don't want them to look like this, right? You want them to kind of look so that they're meeting and rubbing and grinding each other down. Otherwise, you get a long tooth, either the bottom teeth growing up or the bottom teeth growing down. It's called malocclusion, and that can cause a variety of other health issues. But number one, you don't want those genetics, because usually that's going to pass on. That's a trait that will pass down through the generations. And the last thing, the other health issue that you want to always kind of be picky about, well, there's actually 2. The second one is you want to inspect for mites, right? So you're going to look on the inside of the ear, back of the neck. Any crustiness on the inside of the ear could possibly be mites. Any bald spots on the back of the neck could possibly be mites. I'm not saying it absolutely is, but 9 times out of 10, it's a good sign of mites. And the third health thing that you want to look for is for sore hocks. And basically all that is, it just means that the fur on the bottom of the rear, oh, fish on, good job, Luke. The feet on the bottom of the rear legs, the hair on it, just isn't thick enough to protect the feet from the wire if you're going to raise your rabbits in a wire cage. So it's important to be able to make sure that you start with healthy stock so that you can continue to have healthy generations to come, right? Now when it comes to sore hocks, there are a few breeds of rabbit that are going to be much more susceptible to this. Number one is going to be the Rex. They've got a very nice, soft fur, but a lot of times one of the issues that Rex raisers do have is sore hocks, because of that. There's just not enough fur on that back hind leg to keep it from rubbing on the wire. So, it's a known problem with Rex, so I wouldn't say that would deter you necessarily from using that particular rabbit as stock if you do see a sore hawk, because it is possible to give them some wood to lay on, or a tile or something of that nature, which we'll get into in our next video talking about housing for rabbits. Well, thanks for joining us. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do some more fishing. If you have any questions, go ahead and pop your question down there in the comment. Make sure that if you're really curious about this journey into cuniculture, that you go ahead and you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you click on that button, the bell there, so you can get the notifications to let you know when we have uploaded the new videos in this series. And also, just head on over to our Facebook page. Check us out at Independence Acres Homestead on Facebook. Might just give you a little bit more of an insight into who we are as a family, some of the other things that we do, some of the antics that go on here at our homestead, because I don't always put all of the funny things here on YouTube. Anyway, well, I appreciate you, checking us out, and thanks for watching. And until next time, God God bless. Fish on! Oh, it's a big bass. Oh, it's a big one.